Going.
I think it's all right. I thought we were going to have Stunna come over and talk to us. I was really looking forward to speaking
baby.
with him.
You can come over. Say hello.
Hello, does this thing work?
Yeah,
I think it's
come
on.
on.
Hey,
Come
guys.
on,
All right, yeah, so I'll go ahead and introduce you guys, even though everybody in the whole wide world knows exactly who Henry Greer and Matthew Trivett are. You might know him as Henry G, and, well, I guess it would be Sadicus.
I guess.
That'd be the right way
Something
to do it.
like that.
You know, Matt, I have to ask you a little bit about London. I know you got some things on the cards here, but already here at the Ice Bet Challenge, it's going to get heated up.
I think so, yeah. Ice and heat, it was good. I like that segue. No,
Fire
I
and
think
ice,
this is a great little event to start off the year for Henry and I. Obviously, there's been a few, the iPower Masters. We've had the minors, which are still, you know, the topic of discussion going into the major. There was some upsets there. For Na'Vi, this is one of those things. They have to look at this as sort of a shape-up for the major.
They need to be crushing this event. They need to be running away with this one. The other teams here are not major competitors. They need to be proving themselves. A lot of question marks what's going to happen to Na'Vi after this event. I think a lot of people are waiting for those answers. I think Zeus has even revealed that he doesn't plan to finish this year on this team. So we'll see how this major goes. But a nice little litmus test to see what's going to be coming.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a warm-up event going into the major for these teams. And I think anything short of first place for Na'Vi would definitely not be anywhere near what expectations would give. But of course, we have seen some of the segues and the alluding tweets there from Simple saying we don't know what this team's going to be looking like on the outside of the major. But we're not quite there yet, guys.
Definitely not.
Well, we're not. I think it's interesting that they're already having that mentality, because when you look at this team and the fact that Simple was now announced as the best player in 2018, obviously he did a lot of the weight for Na'Vi last year to get them into the second place ranking. Liquid's made changes. iBuyPower beat Astralis in the final. Now, I don't think that that's going to be a calling card for the major. I think Astralis will shape themselves up quite nicely, and that's a bit of a honeymoon for Liquid. But Na'Vi has to look at this like this is their chance to win a major. Honestly, they're in the running. So the fact that they're saying, oh, we might make changes afterward is like, you're kind of looking well beyond the goal, in my opinion.
Well, before looking too further on, there is another competitor here. I mean, we do have a whole octagon here, guys. I know you guys were in here testing out the springs and the suspension earlier.
Felt good to me.
It did.
Yeah. I'm ready for McGregor. Let's go.
Is the slam going to be going down here on Heroic? They are looking bright and sparkly today. We'll just say that.
You know, one thing I like about this octagon setup, this is like back in the day. You can stand up and get in each other's faces.
Absolutely.
You can start giving it. That's what we've been missing in CS for a long time, I think.
Who do you reckon would be? Freiburg's not.
Zeus is going to be scary in that sort of environment. If he's standing up and shouting, you're going to be a little bit intimidated by him.
Boys, I'm going to let you get to it. It's time to get this best of 3 underway here at the GG.Bet Ice Challenge.
Thank you so much, Trace. Yes, we're going to jump into it right away. Best of threes all the way through, and we start off today immediately. Quite a venue here, Henry. I see lots of your hobbies around.
Yes, there's a lot of my vices that I can indulge in afterwards, I believe. But this is we're at the ICE conference, which is a gambling thing going on here for GG.Bet. It seems very exciting. We've got some Counter-Strike to show the people here what the world of esports is all about. This is going to be Overpass. It's Counter-Strike for those watching out there. 5-on-5 game, FPS action coming at you right now. We've got some of the world's best players on the server ready to show you what they're capable of. This is a very tactical map, and this is not a very tactical round because this is the knife round, but looks the thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And look, as much as it's a tactical map, it's become quite level in sort of its expected halftime scoreline, so it's not nuke per se, and that the side is ultra important. But nonetheless, want to start out CT if you can, so this is how they decided. Quick little knife round. Winner of the knife round picks the side, and we get underway. Overpass, you're right. Tactical, good way to start it off, actually.
Absolutely. Na'Vi, like we said coming into this one, absolute favorites here, but Heroic have always had this upset potential, I believe, especially in tournaments like this. Opening game, Na'Vi, self-confessed slow burners. They need to warm up into tournaments, and this one you can't really mess around. It's a pretty brutal format. 4 teams here, 2 losses and you're out.
It's also, I think, a sleeper team. I mean, obviously Heroic is in a bit of a rebrand. They've got the new logo. This will be the first time that they're using it. But Asilian, a player that for me was kind of left out of all the Danish shuffle that didn't get included. Like Magisk, like KRB, some of the younger players that got brought up into the Norths, into the Astralises, and really made a name for themselves. Valda included in that. He kind of got pushed to the outside. You've got Freiburg that brings a wealth of experience. Yep, right on camera as we cue it in. Obviously, major winner with NIP, was on one of the most legendary rosters of all time. They've got some experience, and like I say, you can put that to work. Mertz as well, another guy who's very capable on individual skill. Upset potential is a perfect way to describe them.
They seem to be bringing in a lot of young blood these days. They recently removed Modi, for example, a household name within the Heroic roster, and brought in this new player, Blame F. He was a Danish player, most famously playing in FPL. They brought him in, they spotted him as a bit of a hot talent. I actually played with him myself over the Christmas break, and I couldn't believe how good he was. Very excited his potential to see what he can do here. Not the most experience on this sort of level, on big stages, although this is a smaller tournament, it's still an intimidating prospect. Going up in in the octagon against Simple. That's going to be a difficult game for anyone here. Na'Vi famously in the breaks, Matt, in previous times, haven't looked their best after they come out of it. They don't seem to do as much theory as the other teams. They seem to take time off as a holiday instead of a grind. So
I've talked about that as well. We talked about it last time through the major cycle because the player break in August, the mandatory Players Association break that happens each August, a lot of teams took that as practice time going into the major cycle, the Face It Major here in London, as it were, and a lot of teams didn't. And I don't mind taking time off completely. I'm one that fully subscribes to that and prescribes to that myself when I'm not at events. I don't sit and watch them. I'll get catch up on highlights or caught up on highlights and news feeds, but I like to distance myself from it, and I think it's better for the mentality. So I can completely understand Navi's perspective on that.
Well, I'm excited to see what the young stars within Heroic can do. You might recognize a few of them, like Matt said. There's Freiberg at the end, Asilian, the in-game leader. A pretty iconic name as well. Not the biggest, but in terms of CS overall, he's definitely had a lot of success and been a very decent in-game leader for them. And it looks like we are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. We will confirm who is starting on the counter-terrorist forces, the most favored side, momentarily. This is Overpass. It's a best of 3, and we'll see which way the land lies as we get into it. Heroic will start on the CT side. It looks like an aggressive start from them. 3 players heading towards middle with Estag holding towards the connector, and Simple with his P250 and armor, just to note, ready for any sort of aggression coming in from that mid area.
Yeah, it's a bait and switch position as well for Estag. Pushed up into the corner, almost one and done, but he's got a crossfire set up behind him from both Blamef and inside of the bathroom connector, Mertz. That's pretty much the information gathering position. They'll watch out toward the party. Have to be somewhat careful of this, though. If Edward sneaks out toward long and gets in behind that connector, behind Mertz, that can tear the whole play apart because then Estag has to run back Zeus. He's going to make contact without being spotted. Blame's got to be a little bit more aggressive to see it. Mertz finds it instead. Bomb down, at least for now. Good read as well that the stairs is the next threat, but here's the push. Edward gets in behind. Now Estag. He's already rotated back. He's not. I take it back. He's still in the corner. Finds one. This is where it gets awkward, though, because now Blame's got to be perfect in holding off for his teammate, or Edward walks in behind exactly like this. Awkward exchange with the Glock.
20 bullets from the Glock. You don't see that too often. He doesn't even get the frag. That's very awkward for Edward there.
Good rotation from Freiberg. Keeps it alive. That should have fallen apart far more quickly than it did. This is a big recovery. I honestly think Na'Vi should have had that round. As soon as they solved the problem of going up toward long and finding the triangle at the front of the bathrooms, that almost should have been it.
Absolutely. It looked like they actually pincered in Heroic. It looked like they were done for, but some missed shots there. The Glock not quite connecting. It's Electronic. He was one of the best players of last year, but with just 13 HP here and a 3 versus 1, he's going to have to do something absolutely miraculous. Won't even get the chance, and it will be Heroic to pick up the pistol in quite a convincing manner towards the end. Like we said, Na'Vi known to be slow burners into the tournament. They need a bit of time to warm up, and that round is no different. An awkward exchange there towards the bathrooms, but they are a team that's also known to force buy. Current meta suggests that unless you get the bomb down, you won't be doing it in the second round. We should see the full eco here, and then the AKs in the third. We'll see whether that rings true. And indeed, oh, we actually do have a bit of a force buy. A very strange one, Matt. I won't lie to you. This is Electronic and Flamey going all in with Deagle and armor. Then 3 players with just PD50s, a Deagle there. So they'll get 3 AKs next round. And hopefully their objective here is to get the bomb planted and make up for this investment.
It's nice to see Na'Vi as well going on a force buy without Simple involved.
Sure.
I know that a lot of fans would question that. Obviously the best player in the world, why is he not on one of the weapons? It means that they're starting to put faith in some of their other fraggers, Electronic, Flamey, and he gets to save up weaponry to go for those AKs, as you say. So he'll be a factor in the next round regardless of the outcome. They're not necessarily, seems ironic to say at this convention, but not necessarily gambling on that.
It's just, I think, just to get that bomb down. That's what they're hoping for. They can get a 1-dig, which they're certainly capable of. Players like Electronic, they're with an opportunity. Unfortunately, no damage done, but still a chance. Taken down by range. It's going to be Mertz to get that kill towards a long position. So, unless Flamey can open things up, this isn't looking too good. Remember, they could have brought up in the third round with 5 AKs, but now it should be a few less. Edward does reply with a nice 1-dig towards Blamef. And now the 4 versus 3, but with no grenades, no armor on the remaining 3 players, I don't see this going any further. Heroic maybe give 1 more kill away. This could be it. Zeus will have to connect a few bullets here. Can't quite make it happen. And Asilian should confirm the round at that point.
Simple at least picks up one of the Deagles from his
a little
teammates.
Union Jack. Good to see that.
You would say.
Lovely.
Here in London. Someday we'll get a Maple Leaf up there. Simple still going to try and find at least a few frags again. Money down is important. They've got the SMG picked up for Edward, $600 per kill on that weapon as well. Can build some bank back into the Na'Vi side before the next round, but make it expensive. That's got to be the goal. Freiberg's positioning seems to be more than capable of denying that. He does exactly that with the M4. So now we get that offset by, if you want to call it that. 3 AKs likely to come out.
I guess it's not the end of the world. He's still, like you mentioned, simple with an AK-47 here. He invested nothing into that round. He's going to have around $4,200, enough for an AK, armor, a smoke, a flash, and hopefully cause some damage here. They'll have 2 players on pistols, sure, but that's still enough. It'll be PD-50 armor with a bit of utility as well. It's not the worst pipe. It could have been a lot stronger. Objective was to get that bomb planted, but got nowhere near, unfortunately. So there we go, the 3 AK-47s, a Deagle and a CZ between Electronic and Flamey. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a default here. I was expecting a bit of a faster approach considering the buy, but going to allow Simple to try and find some space here. And speaking of which, Blamef with a lovely boost towards the short area there. The smoke will shroud them for now, but Flamey on the other side. Perfect weapon for close range combat. That's the CZ-75, but the grenades actually not doing that much damage at all.
Yeah, grenades in Counter-Strike are still somewhat of a grievance for me.
Yes.
You can see why. 2 nades and he only takes 16 damage.
Yeah, they looked like they were right on him as well, but not much done whatsoever. Mertz with the defensive play in the bathroom tier, flashed in by the teammate, but Edward should be able to get the kill here. Had a few awkward struggles so far, but that should have been converted. I think he'll be taken down at this point. Should be traded at this stage. Actually, lovely work from Edward. He makes up for it in the end. It's going to be a 4-on-2.
I think he's got that light pole to thank. I think a few bullets from the FAMAS got lost inside of it. He easily should have been taken down. He would not expect the 2 to be in that same corner when they backed off. But this now gives the awkward buy the advantage. 4-on-2. Asilian already rotating off of the A site, likely to try and save as well as Freiburg clears out the off man at B, the lurk of Electronic. And they'll slow the pace. Bomb to go down. Asilian does consider going back for a little bit more. He's only on the SMG, but does have head armor and a kit, as well as an incendiary that would be certainly valuable in the next round. He's got 3K. He'll be able to buy no matter what. But being able to drop for a teammate and keep the minute more effectively is also something, certainly as the in-game leader, he has to consider. Where it is a 3-on-2, they want to get close. He's already found the first on Flamey. Bomb down, they've got lots of time. It's only just been planted as Zeus looks to the position. Molotov missed.
That would have been huge if he could have pulled that one off, but still, it might not matter. Edward left in a 2 versus 1. He's already found 2 kills to his name, make it a 3rd. Freiburg, great in these sort of situations, knows he has the advantage, but it's Edward coming out on top. An absolutely massive round from him. 4 kills in total. Like we said, it kicked off. It looked like he wasn't going to do much with the round. Missed the first shot, but makes up for it in spades at the end. 1 versus Freiburg. Like we mentioned, Freiburg had the advantage there. They had the information, and just a small note, if that incendiary had landed on the truck, no doubt in my mind that they would have won that round.
There's only been 8 kills on the Na'Vi side. Edward has 7 of them.
That's actually bizarre, isn't it?
And he should have gone down in that battle. I still say he's got the light pole to thank. That was an awkward exchange. Imagine if he had. It would be a 3-0 score for Heroic. No one getting anything done on Na'Vi, but this is their turn to try and take advantage. They go against what we call the new meta, the AUG. Still some people not too pleased about that on social media.
A lot of the older players, I would say, don't seem too happy about it. The vanilla Counter-Strike players who find it difficult to adapt, perhaps. It's becoming not so much a problem, but certainly a shift in the gameplay. We're seeing teams actually opt for 5 AUGs at the beginning of rounds. As Mertz open things up, he'll take down the aforementioned Edward, who was the victor of the previous round. He'll be dropped first, but Simple has got the AWP. Yet to frag in this game so far, but this is his signature weapon. But Mertz falls back to more defensive spot at this point. They've got the advantage. They want to wait for Na'Vi to make their next move. Sure, they didn't win the previous round, but they know Na'Vi only had 1 player survive. They won't have a full array of utility yet.
Mertz already with the opening. Lag onto Flamey. Op shots a certain kill anywhere else other than that position on the body. Left him with 10. It may have been actually clipped through the wall. I didn't quite catch it. It was faster than my eye capable of. That's why these guys are faster than me in terms of skill as well. Mertz now falls back, safer position inside of the site, tagged from the flower position, backs off, looks for an additional angle and information to Electronic. Advantage certainly in their way until Simple shows up. He's got 1 on the op now to bring it back down to just the single advantage on the Heroic side. And Mertz is starting to get overwhelmed. He's got an off man inside of the site, but they pretty much have to bait them all the way in toward the platform before that becomes relevant. So he's got to be extremely careful, more so because Simple positioning to counter off his angle.
15 seconds remain, but Simple still finding the kills. The full execution has come in S-Tag. His one objective at this point is to deny that plant, and he's absolutely done that. 8 seconds remain. Should be enough time here, but the pressure applied from the CTs is way too much. Electronic can now no longer win the round unless he kills both of these players straight away. That's not going to happen, and it will be a really successful run there from Heroic. Nice discipline, I want to point out especially. We see Mertz get that first pick, and they fall back to more defensive lines. They're using their percentages to actually win these rounds, create crossfires, and apply pressure towards Na'Vi. Sure, they got a couple of picks, courtesy of Simple towards the end of the round, but no time remaining, about 10 seconds left with the full execution remaining, and unless they got a perfect plan down there, it was going to be very difficult to win out in the round. I assume a force buy comes in here to double eco regardless, and Na'Vi will come in with pistols, a little bit of utility, and a UMP for Zeus. They've actually only got 3 flashbangs here on a map like Overpass, as we mentioned. Very strategic. You need to smoke off the choke points, make the CTs uncomfortable. I don't think that's a possibility of this sort of buy, but we'll see what they're capable of here as Flamey makes his way through the connector, and as you would expect, Heroic reading the buy well and is playing a very deep and passive game here.
Still the 11 kills now from 2 players. Zeus, Electronic, and Flamey yet to get on the board at all. Zeus being on the UMP this round as well. Don't discount Eagles for especially Simple, but Flamey as well, but he's taking damage.
True.
I think that's from a nade.
If we were playing Inferno, for example, I'd be super hyped for the fact of a Simple Deagle. But this sort of map, you can see how difficult these choke points are to access. That's the problem with this sort of buy.
Certainly, as you say, with Heroic reading that situation as well and playing back passively, it doesn't give much away, much opportunity to find those angles, and Freiburg with 2 already. Switches to the Deagle because he doesn't want to reload, he wants to be ready to fight. He certainly is, but Simple does get back at least 1 kill. One's not going to be enough in this situation. Flashed off. Molotov as well. Bomb already down inside of the flames. They have to subside and then sit for at least 7 seconds before they can access that again. But more importantly, with only 30 left on the clock, it's really at this point about getting money away from the CT side, which is building up. I say that, it's not really. Freiburg's the only one with much residual cash at all, you know.
That's why they need to be careful here. They know they've got the round in the bag. They need to keep everyone alive. Is that possible? We'll find out. Flamey with a decent attempt there, but can't find the frag. And it's the same story for Simple. So 4 players survive on the Heroic side. That was the force from Na'Vi. Once again, no bomb planted. So has to be the full eco at this point. I don't expect much investment at all. Maybe a couple of P250s at the very most. As you can see, a unique environment here. This is a conference. This is a booth. We're playing inside an octagon. And it means you can actually see a bit more emotion perhaps. It's very early in the morning right now. I don't think they're quite fired up yet, but hopefully as the day develops, I want to see them standing up. I want to see them getting in each other's faces. Some mind games coming through.
I don't think, well, first off, Heroic's the underdog and they're in the lead.
Sure.
I don't think Navi's in a position yet to be quite so emphatic, shall we say.
We'll see.
But you're right. Once we get some rivalries going, once we get into map 3s, if we go that far in some of these series, certainly there'll be a bit of dispute. The last LAN that I was at that they faced off each other in this fashion, now there is a bit of a dividing wall, was ESEA LAN in like season 14.
Sure.
December of 2014, and I still remember Virtus Pro playing, it may have been Fnatic, and Crims and Taz going at it.
I remember that story quite
One-on-one.
well. That was one of the most infamous ones, and that's some of the storylines you miss out on these days with the separation, so hopefully we get a bit of drama and excitement with the intensity of the octagon.
So the new signing, Blame, trying to do some damage with the AUG from the bathrooms. Already spots out the fact that they're inside of the connector stairwell. Access to both facets of the map from that position, but the focus solely on B at this point. 5 players over toward the access at both Short and Monster. Passive hold inside of the B site from the CT side. Freiburg sitting well back on the ramp. He's got the M4. That will certainly do damage and bait Asilian's position into relevance. He's playing the close angle because the SMG, the fall off more significant for the damage potential of that weapon. He's got to be careful with his back turned to the smoke because exactly that. They'll be able to push through undetected. Not only do they push through, they get a gun and get away. The bigger problem, and you can see what they're trying to do with the pistol, is they want to bait out the shots from the AWP. They don't have the utility left to smoke off the heaven. And the bomb is down well within vision of Mertz. So the round kind of falls apart on that small detail alone.
Yeah, that was the full eco, but actually quite a decent job there from Na'Vi to get a couple of kills here. Remember on the T side as well, these sort of starts can happen. It's certainly recoverable very early on in this best of 3 series. They're certainly the favorites, but Heroic are a scrappy underdog. I'm sure they've definitely got some unique strategies to show us, and Peacemaker is no slouch as the coach position here. We're definitely doing his homework and making sure he knows Na'Vi inside out as we get into the next gun round here. Simple, no AWP, not a huge problem, but Mertz has looked pretty hot so far. We'll see what he can do as he aggresses towards middle once again. He spots a player jumping towards the playground, tries to follow it up with a bit of utility, decides better other than Blame F, uses that information to get a nice quick first pick. Edward wasn't expecting it, and once again, fall back to those more defensive positions.
Oh, Freiberg, that is poor timing. Wanted to get the smoke out as late as he possibly could. It's obviously about a 15-second animation for the smoke, and it's very awkward and difficult for Na'Vi to push through, but catches him out. Great shot from Asilian down through the edge of the ramp. You can see the ACOG scope on the AUG and its potential. I mean, easy work of Flamey, but bomb down with 3 in the sight. This is probably Navi's best post-plant positioning they've had all game. Simple gets underneath of Heaven as well, and he'll be able to cover off anyone dropping down, as well as the information from Zeus, but he needs to do more than that. Asilian, great response. Sets up Electronic for an easy frag, but Simple still waiting to get baited in, and he will. He'll find S-Tech. Now they know he's there. Doesn't matter. He's got so much skill. Turns it around again to find all 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now witnessing the best player in CSGO right now. Simple waking up on the server. I knew as soon as I was kicking off, he saw the 2 names remaining. Simple and Electronic. 4-on-2, 5-on-2, it doesn't matter. Those boys are capable of pulling off those rounds. Simple does it all on his own. He did get baited in slightly by Electronic, so certainly a team effort there, but great shots there, and that's just the power this man possesses. Really, really fantastic comeback, and that really is a bit of a storyline of Na'Vi in general. This guy is unbelievable. Sometimes they don't look like the best team, but they have those 2 players that can perform out of their minds when required, when the team really needs it. And that's going to be a demoralizing round for Heroic. They take a timeout from this to discuss and calm themselves down, make sure no one gets frustrated. Asilian might be thinning a little bit. He did such a great job with the AUG there. Must have felt like a guaranteed round in a 4 versus 2, but they're still in the lead here and hopefully can recover.
But it goes to show you the small nuances in timing as well. If Freiberg has the gun out covering that angle at Monster, you'd expect him to at least go 1 for 1, which then limits the post plant to potentially a 5-on-2 or a 4-on-2 rather than the 3 being up. Less information, less awareness, less angles to cover, and maybe Simple doesn't play quite the same position as a result. So that smoke timing was everything in terms of the entrance for Na'Vi.
Absolutely.
The other reason for the timeout is now, economically, this game becomes a lot more difficult for the CTs. Being able to purchase into this round, they give Na'Vi a chance back into it, and you can see them stringing together every bit of cash they have. AUG, FAMAS, MP9, arguably the weakest of the weapons compared with the potential of the Deagle at range, and Mertz goes Glass Cannon AWP.
Well, it's working out so far. They had to make a play, and it's Blame F who gets boosted up in that connector once again. Electronic trying to reply quickly towards the B bomb site here. Freiberg got punished in his position before, but not this time. Saved by the glass cannon. It's the AWP that finds the bomb. That means the CTs can rotate over straight away. Mertz, you'd think he'd hit that, but Freiberg would be dropped as well. All of a sudden, Na'Vi back in the driving seat, but the CTs with that information rotating over quickly.
Quick push from the MP9. Now up close, it's certainly no slouch. Not so much when there's a gun not drawn, but it is a 2-on-1. Blame F, the new player, has to make do with it. Nade through, couldn't catch out Electronic. Did do minor damage onto him, but the bomb is backed away. This has the option of going both A and B with 55 seconds. Won't even go that far. Electronic already positioned to catch him off on a lurk. I like the aggression to go early, but back on short. I honestly think that was literally to figure out what buy they had available to them, and now it will be a save on the CT side.
Yeah, absolutely will. The AWP seemed like it did enough work. Nice opening pick from the FAMAS there, but well recovered once more from Na'Vi. They didn't panic. They were assertive. They stayed towards the B side, traded out the kills, and now the other players starting to wake up. It's only Zeus that hasn't posted a frag yet. Flamey 1 and 8. Want to see a bit more from him, but this should be 5-4. Maybe a couple more as well, as a buy still won't be great for Heroic in the next round. We'll see what they can do with it. As the PD50 here, that's the only real investment from Heroic, and they are going to stack towards middle. No flash, just hoping for a mistake here perhaps. A player to walk around with the bomb on his back first. Need to make sure the players are with him in position. There we go. Simple now can trade effectively as they stack completely in towards that connector. All 5 players making their way towards T-spawn, it seems.
Strength in numbers. They've got to be... Oh, Mertz.
Bomb down. Zeus.
Actually already got one as well toward the top of the stairs. I was going to say they've got to be careful not to make noise, but if Zeus is going to run toward them, perhaps optimistically, fair enough. Flamey gets 4 plus the assist on the 5th, but could have been awkward had the bomb been down a little bit deeper in that stairwell.
Got to be careful, but Flamey, we did say he was 1 and 8 going into that round. He gets some lovely eco fractor. That does raise your confidence a little bit, kind of takes the attention off you, and you can start warming up into the series properly here, as we will see a tactical timeout by the looks of things.
Is it tactical or?
We've got some chatting going on, so I think so.
I just saw Edward looking down toward his PC. I thought maybe there was a sound issue for him, but you could be right. It wouldn't be a bad time for a tactical for Heroic. Again, you're early. We're midway through the half, but you're early enough in the game. Again, they've had the economic advantage. They've now given that away. You have to make sure you're very careful and conceited about how you get back into that.
Well, there we go. Heroic definitely is an option to choose here. The fact that I mentioned that they've got enough to buy here, but it wouldn't be their full buy. As an underdog, you usually want to be focusing on the full economic situation. You want to have the AWPs, utility. You want to be playing more like a squad. Pound for pound, Na'Vi have got more firepower than Heroic. You need the utility, you need your AWP, and they do have it, but it is the glass cannon. You see some compromises made. No diffuse kits, for example, and they don't have all the utilities. They went for the buy, but another play perhaps needs to be made by Mertz to give them that opening pick, as Freiburg will incendiary towards the short position just to slow down Electronic. That's successful so far, but no real aggression here. Mertz, he's looking towards Monster and towards T-Spawn. Gonna nail the shot, hits Zeus, but it's through the fence and it'll take him down just to 11 there. Really wanted that first pick. It was a risk to take, one that's successful, but really wanted the kill out of that.
Electronic still trying to wait for the jump shot. Common position for the CTs to play, jump off the sandbags. These guys are fast enough, they'll be able to spot just the head going over and the headshot potential of the AK. Nate stacked toward the flower position. Blame's there, but he's not playing it. And this is the second time they've double stacked the corner. Typically, you might see a double stack, but it's a little bit different. It's an off angle towards CT to bait the attention. Second player gets a chance to walk out undetected. This has similar potential, but a lot more risk in that there's no real escape.
We'll see how it works out. Usually a one and done position, but the double stack certainly increases their chances here. It's all down to S-Tag to bait in his teammate. Mertz still hitting fantastic shots here. Remember, he already tagged Zeus at the start.
He's got to watch front bathrooms, given the stack, but he actually could still swing and just take one shot to long, and that could be enough to make both players extremely potent in this position. S-Tag still waiting. Oh, that flash. Both of them see it. Both of them look away. Didn't blind either player. That's such smart awareness from the Heroic players. At long, Zeus will get one, but now they've got to turn back and cover off long. It's almost retake time, and the CT's with the upper hand on it. Bomb's going to back away as a result.
Don't push in until they start planting that bomb. As soon as a player commits to the plant, that's 4 seconds he's taken out of the equation. There's 10 seconds remaining.
Bomb's not going to make it.
They have to save at this point. Yes, you're right. They cannot plant. So Simple is actually been hung out to dry. He'll be trying to survive here, but he'll get a kill. Was it worth going for that frag? He could have let him live, and he'll go down to no cash now, so he might have wanted to consider just letting him survive. That might sound ridiculous, but now he gets punished with no money. You can see how frustrating that looks for him. They weren't as assertive there. That was a very standard Na'Vi round. You could see Heroic reading the situation. That double stack towards long, focused on taking down Edward, then retaking the site as Mertz continuing to hit shots. Nice tag at the start. Defended the site brilliantly, and then it's Heroic right back on track.
Zeus is famous for slow tactics.
Yes.
We often talk about the CIS region more than Europe, certainly more than North America, being a slower team play, slower meta. That one came down to time, but how many times do you see a save called when you have a player already inside of the site? They just didn't have the angles. They didn't have the awareness, and Zeus was not comfortable trying to push that bomb in.
Well, there we go.
Ultimately, with Simple going down, you might have wanted to give it a go anyway.
Well, they had enough to give Simple at least an AK. They've dropped for him. It'll be Electronic down to the Galil, arguably the second best frag on the squad. He wanted to have an AK, but we won't dwell on that too much. There's no AWP this time, so some good news. Na'Vi can definitely reset Heroic here, so certainly worth the investment as they go through the motions here. You're going to see the Molotovs thrown towards a connector, just flushing it out. Another slow approach here. This is what we call the default strategy. You can see 2 players towards long, focusing on that area, 2 towards the connector. The bomb ultimately left in T-spawn gives them multiple options. They can go towards A or B, but remember that clock has been an issue so far, but it looks like the A split will be where they end up as the bomb is recovered. That's to be found by Electronic. They still have 2 smokes, make it 3, and a couple of flashbangs. I assume a very similar strategy to what we saw last round, but hopefully a bit more time remaining.
Mertz still waiting for a chance to peek up close. Simple just absolutely destroys him. Mertz famous for the AWP, not so much on the AUG, but seemingly another player that's adapting to it. Flame's got to get close to the truck. No massive moments from the new signing as of yet, but we'll see if he can find one here. Swings out. Potential was there. Simple still finds the shot. Second headshot in the round.
It's a save.
And I was going to say exactly that. They've already got the sight. CT's low on income at this point in time as well. They're going to have to back away to keep guns up in the next round.
Money is tight, and so is Simple's aim, it seems. 2 great shots from him as he opens things up. He's had enough. That was the default, like I said, but this time, with a bit of a twist. Simple was making his way through towards middle, landing the shots. When he is in the zone and he's feeling it, you don't necessarily need to rely on strategies or timings. He's happy just to take one-on-one duels. He knew the money would be low for Heroic, a low chance of them having an AWP, and he punishes them for it. As another kill is found by Flamey. That's S-Tag going down, and at this point, every kill is so valuable to Na'Vi. 2 weapons weapons surviving. Still probably going to be an eco for Heroic, but they can get one more, that will guarantee it. As Electronic and Edward working together, they will be trying to trade out kills here. Freiburg gets one, but this should be the trade. Indeed it is. Edward, great stuff from him. 11 kills to his name so far as we go 6 and 5, and with one player remaining on the CT side, that should be it. We'll see whether they will force buy into this. I doubt it with this sort of lead. They want to focus on having a strong finish with the full buys. They've taken a lot of compromises so far, a lot of glass cannons. They save one weapon. I'm seeing a little bit of shuffling. It looks like they're going for the full investment here with the UMPs. We've got scouts as well. S-Tag with no armor with that weapon. So this really is an all-in purchase. Mertz tries to save a little bit of cash of $800, but this will be a very, very difficult round for them.
So scout position at Flowers instead this time. Watch for that nade stack if they threw it this time. Will work wonders against an armorless player. He wants to bait in a teammate up close. Blamef. UMP potential certainly there if he can get in without being detected, but he's going to be peeked right now. Flash out, and Edward spotted immediately, or excuse me, spots Blamef immediately because S-Tag blinded. Couldn't take the aggro, couldn't take the shot, knows they're there, but has to back off and get away. Thinks about the nade. Perhaps best that he just gets back to the site because Simple already up close is going to catch him anyway. Caught him on the retreat, heard him running down because he was already up close inside of the bathroom. So Asilian and Freiburg left to save yet again. They've got the rifles. This is going to go to a 6-6 game as we get to the end of the first half.
Yes, it absolutely is. A really strong start from Heroic, but turning into a brutal finish here from Na'Vi in the first half. All 5 players looking to survive at this point. Money is in the bin for Heroic. They haven't really got anything left. They have to save these 2 weapons just to give them even a sliver of a chance in the next round. As Asilian holds towards shore, the door opens. He knows he's in trouble here. Same story for Freiburg. Punished once again. No way Asilian survives this. Edward looking much sharper than what we're used to. Really fantastic stuff from him so far. Great shots, good trades, and good discipline overall from Na'Vi.
Edward's the type of player, you talked about it though, over the Christmas breaks, rather than grinding it out, going into sort of a boot camp mentality too soon, putting too much on the table in terms of practice. He's a player that's certainly, just in dealing with him at multiple lands over the years, he likes to get away, he likes to do his own thing, he likes to reset mentally. I think he's the kind of player that is going to come back hot after something like that. Time away for Edward is probably the best treatment you can give a guy like him, and it shows. He looks invigorated this game. He was aggressive on the pistol round, didn't really work out. Won them their first round with 4 kills to his name, clutching out in a 2-on-1 as well inside of the site, and he's been sharp most of the way. I mean, some of the shots haven't been pinpoint accurate like you see from Simple, but his decision-making and positioning has been pretty solid.
It's going to be a big year for Edward here, and so I'd say they want to see what their future holds. It's getting to that point now where they have question marks around their future. I think the major is going to be very indicative as to where this team's heading, but so far, so good here in London, as we will see the pause come to an end of this stage. Is there any buy available for Heroic? I doubt it completely. We'll see just USPs here. Nothing invested apart from a flashbang that suggests a mid-stack. Flash over, try and get towards that fountain area, as it will be Asilian to hold the flash. It really is clutching at straws, really hoping for a couple of kills with a decent time flash. No one's really there to receive it. It looks as to be contact play from Na'Vi, to be honest, and that's going to be absolutely perfect because no CT presence there whatsoever. Edward waiting for the push. He's been hitting the shot so far. Probably gets a couple of kills here before he goes down. Just needs to connect the dots, but unfortunately taken down by the USP this time. Flamey, doesn't even matter if he gets dropped here. The round is in the bag for Na'Vi at this point.
Blame's got to hold on to that AK as well. That's going to be extremely valuable for the CT side. Flamey and Simple just making short work of armorless and gunless players. Unfortunately, one of those being Blamef, so that AK gone already. Mertz has a chance to sneak out in behind them, but already their attention turning back that direction, given that they've cleared everything else. Could be sneaky. No kit, no armor. Even if he takes down Zeus, it's not like that bomb's wide open to him. I say that. He could have a 10-second here. Oh, he thought about it. He was trying to go for the ninja.
Got to give it a go sometimes. And won't work out for him. Na'Vi now pushing themselves in the lead on the T side of Overpass. May I remind you, this is certainly considered a CT-sided affair, and if you're considered the quote-unquote underdog here, you want to be posting at least a victory in the first half here on the CT side. This is not looking too good for them now, as Na'Vi seem to be getting stronger and stronger at 7-6. The orb's out, but once again, compromise is made. You can see no defuse kits. Mertz, I don't think he's had armor once this game. He keeps having to buy the orb with nothing to protect him, goes to the first shot, and will not connect the bullets this time, as we'll see the Kree come out for Edward, and Electronic, as he usually does, working towards short. This time not as aggressive, but the CT's investigating towards that position. It's Asilian, who's been looking sharp at the Orc so far, but can he find the opening kill?
More of an aggressive angle to get information out towards short. Electronic counters that if he pushes any further, and not only does he counter it in terms of that direct kill, but he also gets information based on sound inside of the site. Esteg's read that.
Oh, yes.
Takes away any potential they had over at B, but Mertz has to be extremely careful. AWP at post spots a lag. It's just enough for him to find the information to get Edward down and backs away. Ooh, I was going to say seemingly for free, but Zeus does find the shot. Narrow corridor long, very difficult to get away without utility or anyone to bait away the aggro in doing so. Flamey still trying to cover off the site. Molotov on the left. That certainly takes care of the park sign. Smoke back toward the dumpster, but watch Esteg. He's forward of that and has the truck as aided armor and cover for when they enter through. He's the only one with vision directly on the site, though, so he's got to be very careful and call for the rotation. At the same time, you can't over-rotate because no commitment from the bomb in 37 seconds. This still could go back over toward B if they get caught out too soon. Good find from Flamey. Just the head showing from Esteg.
Now remember, Matt, if this bomb gets planted, we've got no utility, no kits here. Heroic probably needs to be fighting heads up here before the plant comes in. That's exactly what Cillian tries to do. Great work so far. Can he follow it up? Absolutely. Fantastic work by him. That's what they needed to do. They could not play a retake mentality there. Had to try and be assertive, get in their faces when they knew one player was removed from the equation. As soon as that plant comes in, that was the cue for a Cillian to strike. 2 kills coming in. Freiburg to follow it up. They pick up the AWP and tie up the score as well. 7-7 could still steal a half victory here. I didn't think it was possible, but that's a really successful round from them. You can see the coach patting them on the back. That was massive. They managed to save 3 weapons here, so both teams with a nice healthy buy to close things out here and decide who will be winning the half.
Again, though, it was Heroic with that massive start that slipped away, which does lead questions on the T side. Everyone's starting to come to terms with getting kills on the T side, but you combine that. Oh, double op. Zeus going to go for it as well.
You don't see him with an AWP every single day. They've
Triple
got
AWP.
3 AWPs here.
Now, there's a gun. It works. Flamey's the third one, and he gets to the underpass. That's not bad. I was going to say there's a gun juggle available. It's round 15, so spend all your money, but 3 ops T-side?
I guess their mentality, if you think about it, kind of makes sense. Mertz has been so aggressive with the AWP almost every single round. It's a different position. He's been a monster. He's been middle. He's been connector. If you put 3 AWPs posted up in those positions, you're going to find him at the start of the round, and you can see them just waiting for the reactions here. This is actually a pretty cool play for the last round. Money's not a factor anymore. You're just holding those angles. You presumably got AKs on the floor, back in T-spawn to go pick them up if required. So this is actually pretty cool, quite innovative, I would say.
The one thing now is not to get too cocky with it, because now that they've got those 2 picks, remember to go get those AKs. You still have to take the close quarters battles and get toward the bomb site. That
should be happening now. Zeus has dropped one. Does he have a rifle to pick up on T-spawn? He does indeed. So that's actually a really cool little play. You got residual cash, why not give it a go?
Flamey's done it as well. You're right, that is, very nice from Simple. It is a smart play to guarantee you to find Mertz. You're guaranteed to have an op in position to at least give yourself a chance in the battle. All gun barrel shows, Simple, short work of Esteg. Great round. This is very tactical from Na'Vi.
Yeah, we've been casting CSGO for a while. We've never seen anyone really have that sort of round, at least not that sort of success. It looked so coordinated and well read.
Well, and you pointed out the other aspect of it is that they got Mertz on the first op. The other 2 were not yet revealed. There's got to be a response from the CTs. It's an aggressive map, CT-sided. You have to play for information. As soon as you lose one player in an important choke point, Cillian says, right, I need to push for information. They're already posted for that as well.
And the thing is, you can't really blame Mertz. He has been successfully finding that kill almost every single round. It's just Na'Vi finally adapting to it and shutting him down. Every angle he was going to face, he was going to be challenged by the AWP. So Flamey in the connector, he opened things up. The reaction towards Shaw, it was just very well orchestrated.
One of the things we didn't talk about, we talked about the rebranding, we talked about the new signing for Heroic, obviously Peacemaker back on board with them. He's done a world tour in the last, 14 months with multiple teams. Maybe it's been a little longer than that now.
Sure.
Brings some experience to the table for them in the coaching role.
He absolutely does. He's been in a lot of different lineups and played with a lot of different players. Even made it over to Tyloo, right?
I was going to say, he's had many different cultures and languages involved in that.
I'm sure he's got a lot of experience. I won't say he's quite heralded as a legendary coach yet. He's definitely been criticized, me quite controversial at times, but he's definitely a hard worker. He definitely knows what is required of a coach, and he's going to put all the hours in, but he wants to find that team that really is his swan song almost, the one that finds him the success and the notoriety. I think he does deserve at this point. He's just been a bit unlucky with some of the lineups he's chosen to be involved with, but we'll see how it develops. But here's some of the highlights from the first half. Simple. This round was unbelievable to get them into the game, really. How does he get that 3rd kill? He impresses me every single map we cast. You think sometimes he's going to be quiet, but he's always round rowdy, and so was Mertz. He was hitting some great shots here. A player that's looking very promising for 2019, I would say. Finally had a lot of LAN experience, proven himself on the big stage a few times here. And Heroic, they'll be a little bit disappointed, as you mentioned, that huge lead that did slip away towards the end, but still a competitive game here, a competitive half, and all to play for in the pistol.
Yeah, all to play for. It is the new meta in the pistol, so you can't necessarily run with that 3-round spread.
Yeah.
CTs can get back into it a little bit more quickly if they're smart about their purchasing. But it still is a chance to get them at least on level footing to start out this half. Electronic makes contact at long. That'll be some information that at least 2 were jumping behind that rock. Simple positions accordingly to watch and see how many more are on the cross. 2 again. Likely to be A, so a rotation required. In fact, they'll get aggressive and bring Electronic all the way around from long back out to the bathrooms, as well as positioning Flamey in the site. So they are certainly ready for this assault, as well as pushing on B. So now they have information they are on A, but also the lack of information is that just playing default? Is that spreading the map? Not anymore, because they pushed out to discover it has to be all on A this time.
Remember, it was Heroic who ran away with the pistol after a clumsy affair from Na'Vi. Simple. Used to seeing him hit those sort of shots, but he baits in his teammate Flamey, takes the silencer off for some reason, and BlameF just lights up the bomb side there. 3 headshots with the Glock. Freiburg seals the deal, and Edward left in an impossible situation. We haven't seen much from BlameF so far, but that could be one of the biggest plays of the game, as he manages to find all the headshots. That's only his 7th kill there, Matt. So. Yeah. Sure, he might have had a quiet first half, but he's got them right back in the game, as we should see the full eco here from Na'Vi. They'll be buying up in the next round, but very convincing stuff there.
You were right to call it as well, because Simple, even though he went down without getting a kill, he was very aggressive, you have to say, as well, standing on top of the boxes. He baited in his teammate at long, and Blame still found that shot as well, so very well done.
It was interesting that Flamey took the silencer off. At that sort of spot, right, you think, like, you want to have some sort of element of sneakiness going on there. You want to be making sure you're undetected, but he took the silencer off. He wanted to be loud and proud, but
it's like
didn't work out
for him. Though, right?
Yes, indeed. That is true. It doesn't really have any effect on it, apart from you can hear yourself and shoots. But just a note, Na'Vi have force board in this second round. Now, maps like Overpass is actually can be quite beneficial, but you do have to take some gamble stacks. They put 4 players in that B bomb site. You can see they've opted for the majority of players on CZs here. They've got 5 smokes. They've got to play this like a traditional gun round if they can. Wait for any sort of presence and drop a smoke. Try and whittle that clock down until it's the absolute last moment. They might not have a chance here. Heroic committing. They're going to beat the smoke, and they know Edward's close as well. That's a guaranteed kill pretty much. And Sicilian will find the first. It's up to Flamey now, who will not be able to convert the frag. Simple and Zusto still with CZs. Might still have a fighting chance.
There's a lot of bullets to fire. Long reload time on that weapon. Thankfully, no one pursues the position from Zeus as he sneaks in behind the barrels. Not only does he have armor, those barrels will certainly absorb a lot of shots going his direction as well, as Blame backs off. They know the situation. If they lose one more weapon to those pistols on take without getting a bomb down, it's a massive problem. Zeus now with that AK. He's going to hold it. I thought he might try and transfer that over to Simple. Simple's actually rotated a little bit ahead of him, but if he catches up, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that in Simple's hands. It's a great fake rotation, though. They make contact on B. They lose the exchange on entry. Fall back, make them think that they're going over toward A. Send one player. They've already bought the rotation. Zeus stays. He's going to spot it out, and he's got the rifle. That's going to slow them down. Great second shot on Blame as well, and that should be the round. Low HP for Esteg. Bomb as well has been dropped, but on the ramp, Zeus, I don't think, spotted that. And he got a little bit too far away. You're right to hold your breath. Simple nearly got the chance on the jump, but he knows Estag's on the site because of the plant. He's low HP. And a round stolen back by Na'Vi. They'll collect weapons, no need to rush the defuse, get everything they can. AK is certainly valuable to bring over to that CT side.
I was ready to lose my mind there. If Simple hit that jumping shot to deny the plant, that would have been so wild. But either way, it's going to be Electronic and Simple, that dastardly duo we discussed in the first half as well. If those two are alive, anything can and will happen. Zeus, though, you have to say, Matt, that's just a great contribution from him. Difficult shots as well. He's just got the AK picked up from a fallen enemy, manages to find 2 very impactful frags to set up that dynamic duo as we see them close the round out. Bomb got planted there by Heroic, so they lose the round, but they have the option to try and answer back in response. I think they almost certainly will here. You don't want that loss bonus to rack up too much. You want to be able to reset Na'Vi straight away, but they actually go for the more conservative approach here. They're going to allow Na'Vi to build up some cash here, presumably, as we see a Deagle and Glocks. And I guess it's more to that mentality I pointed out before. You're supposed to be the more tactical team here. You know you haven't got the firepower Na'Vi have. You want to make sure you have all the AKs, you have the AWP, and not be hamstrung like you were in the first half. And Mertz, we didn't see him with armor, I don't think, really once at all.
Yeah, he had to go to a glass cannon quite a few times in the latter stages of that half. I mean, it's still viable, certainly. You have the AWP, but you're susceptible to nades. You can be picked apart and forced off of angles far more quickly. Can't be quite as aggressive, I guess you could say. In this round, pretty straightforward. Simple sneaks up on the flank. Zeus, the only player to go down. It was an AUG. It's $50 more at this point, so it's not a massive loss. And they get the AKs carried over still yet again. For that $50, you'd leave it on the ground as well, because an AK is far more important to bring over, that headshot potential that it does possess.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of a change of scenery here to what you're used to, actually playing inside an octagon here. GG.Bet provided. We're here live from London at the ICE conference, playing for a total of $50,000, a 4-team tournament. Nice little warm-up for the major for Na'Vi. We are hoping, well, expecting them, I would say, to run away with this tournament. They're going to stand a chance of digging their heels in Katowice. We'll see what happens, as it's looking pretty good so far. Heroic always going to be a pretty difficult team to take down, especially the first game of the day. We know Na'Vi a little bit slow to warm up, but Electronic, he's hot as ever as he hits the first headshot. That's Mertz going down. That AUG is going to be a massive talking point this year, Matt. A huge talking point. It's seen a very controversial start to the year with the weapon. A lot of teams opting for 5 of them in the full gun rounds, and objectively, it is a better weapon than the M4. It just took a bit of time for players to adjust to it.
It does, for me, yes. Okay, fully agree with that, and statistically, you can't argue it. Good angle for Simple. Does nearly get away with the headshot. The firing rate does make it a little awkward on close quarters exchanges, certainly if you're being rushed down. That's where the M4, I think, still kind of wins out.
Sure.
But yeah, for picks, long-range engagements such as Overpass and Dust 2, even Nuke outside, it has so much potential.
Absolutely. And you can see it just took a little bit of time. I think that Elise was one of the original innovators, like showing us how powerful it could really be. But now you'll see at least 3 players in every squad using it. Just like Na'Vi are now. They've got the initial kill and the damage as well. Blamef down to 5 HP. Simple. Oh, he can smell blood on the other side. He knows exactly what's going on here, but he does have one more player to find. They've all gone past him. This is absolutely brilliant from Simple here. He's getting ready for 3 kills. This will be an absolute monstrous round from him. He's got everyone lined up, and here comes the pain. He doesn't deny the plant and only gets 2.
He thought he killed him. He actually thought he had Freiberg. He stopped shooting. Freiberg was able to turn around and nearly steals the round back. It's 2 1 on 1. Estag with only 12 HP has to position himself perfectly, but Flamey rather, already knows exactly where he's gone, so it's not like he can wait for the bomb to be defused, and Flamey gets the upper hand.
I was really ready for a huge Simple moment there, man. Why did he do that to me? That could have been a lovely way to kick off the day. But you're right, he thought he killed that planter. It can be very difficult in his chaotic situations. Remember, he's got like 5 different paths in his mind at that point. I'm going to kill this guy, deny the plant, clutch it out, give the information to my teammate, try and stay alive. A lot of going on, and if he thought he could deny the plant and find 2 kills first, that would have been brilliant. But still win the round. He's got himself 22 kills as we go into round number 20 here, and we will see a slight investment here from Heroic. Going to see the pistols come out. Tech 9, rare appearance from that in the hands of Vasilian, CZs, Deagles, and Mertz, of course, going for the eco. We want to see him get the AWP out, but Na'Vi starting to look very comfortable here.
Keep in mind, for some of the new passers-by, the X-ray is strictly for observing purposes. Electronic gets rushed down by a plethora of pistols. Has to be very careful. Good flashbangs on the sights. Smoke out to counter off Simple. He still manages to spray through it at the farthest possible target as well.
I don't get it, but I'll take it.
He does things that don't make sense. He's pretty incredible at this game. Highest rated player. 2018, rated best overall individually. Flamey takes down Blame as he pushes through, trying to get more information. These pistols, though, they're getting aggressive backstairs. Edward, 2 angles to cover off, and Mertz is going to burrow in down below. That's going to buy more and more time. He's the last alive. They'll eventually, surely take care of him. In fact, they'll switch it off. Simple's got high HP. Let him take the duel. Go back for the defuse. Edward's got the kit. Just get on it.
Got a bit scary there, I have to say. Edward expending 30 bullets to the AUG. If he had gone down, maybe they were in trouble with the incendiary towards the steps, guaranteed the round. So like we said, just a partial investment there from Heroic. Didn't go all in. They got the plant down there, actually pretty successful. It cost the CTs dearly, but they'll still be fully equipped themselves. Very, very important round for either side here. If Na'Vi pick this up, it will solidify their chances of taking this first map at the best of 3, but a chance for Heroic now to really start getting back into it. They need to show us some innovative strategies. We know they've been working hard here. They knew they were playing for Na'Vi coming into this tournament. They know Overpass is a big map for them. It's not known as the strongest map for Na'Vi. This is definitely a fighting chance for them to take the first map and get some great momentum going forward. It's actually Na'Vi to take the tactical pause here. Now, they're on the CT side. When you take a tactical pause on the CT side, it suggests you're making adjustments. Will we see a very aggressive pick? They know the money's stable now for Heroic. They could send Simple, the AWP, in towards a connector, pushing towards Shaw, go for a boost. He's enjoying himself at the end there, and why not? He's absolutely lighting it up on the server right now. As you mentioned, rated the #1 player in the world, ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, and looking sharp as ever here in the first game of the tournament.
Do you agree?
I think it was up for debate. I think it depends what your category is for world's best. I feel like trophies are very important as well, but the ranking is about best player.
Yeah, keep in mind that we're saying best.
Yes.
Best in terms of individual skill. I think that he is there.
Yes.
The award's actually for most valuable, and valuable brings a different aspect into it. Obviously, Na'Vi had an okay year, finished #2 in the rankings, and currently sit #2 in the rankings, but you have to keep in mind Astralis were so damn good, and Device was incredible in all of those as well. Stipulation perhaps on finals performances, but there was a debate to be had. I don't disagree with it. I just think that both players equally could have been in that position, and it wouldn't have been a problem. Edward, Shot Factory Monster, gets 2, trying to play that metal grate. The interesting position, although there's not a lot of cover, is that you blend in quite a bit with the textures.
You wouldn't believe how much it is camouflage. Like, even when you think you're checking it, there's a CT that can just blend in there. It is the perfect camouflage, and the Aug's a perfect weapon for it as well. You can see scoped in, Edward able to pick them off easily. Just a few body shots required as he holds that difficult angle. They will find Na'Vi the advantage here. S-Tag, that's a brave pick. He's got to jump up the flower bed here. If an Orb is waiting on the other side, he would be taken down, but Simple will be on the other side of the map. I believe he's actually on the A-bomb side, so we'll see what happens here as Heroic make their way through. Flashbang through, very dry procedure here, no smokes being dropped quickly. S-Tag needs his frag, but it's so easy for Electronic there. Runs into his crosshair, the bomb will be planted, but can they do anything in this 4-on-2?
Flame's got great positioning. Stays in the corner. He'll get the shot on Electronic, you'd expect. Checks along behind his teammate, but he needs to be focused. He needs to be, I guess, committed. If he's going to play a position like that, you've got to watch the stairwell. He was a little bit hesitant and wanted to cover off. Mertzy finds one quick shot. We know he's very skillful individually. Had a stint on North after rising through their academy team, but Simple's certainly going to be winning that battle, I suppose, one-on-one every time you'd expect. And as a result, it now will be 13 rounds for Na'Vi. They lost the pistol to start off this half, but they've been non-stop since and continue to be in that fashion. Loss bonus, we haven't talked about it, 5 rounds in a row, plus bomb plants. Lots of money still going to the terrorist side, but it's going to be a difficult affair to pull themselves out of this hole.
It absolutely is. Now they are in a very tricky position. Ever since that stint of 5 rounds in a row at the beginning of the game, got 5-1 there. We thought they've got a real chance here, but those chances are dwindling. We need to see something fantastic here. A lot of the players going quite quiet on the Heroic side. Mertz has been shining out. We had one great round from Blame F in the pistol, but both pistols to Heroic's name, and so far not looking too good for their prospects here on Overpass. A team that's rebuilt recently. This is not an established lineup. This is the first big tournament Blame F has probably played at, and going up against, like you said, the #2 team in the world right now is always going to be a very difficult prospect. And
keep in mind, this is still a very different environment than the stages he'll have to come to terms with when we play in front of massive audiences such as Na'Vi is very used to, right? It's actually a good event to transition for him into, if you will. You get used to a LAN environment, different desk setups, different sort of energy, if you will. You're beside your teammates, but you're still not playing in front of that massive CS crowd that's often passionate and very critical.
Confidence does seem to be an issue of it. I saw him tweeting the other day that they boot camped, they had some online games, and he couldn't find his form, he couldn't find the play he's used to playing, like the level he's at, usually maybe in FPL and stuff like that, so maybe he's still finding his footing, and if you have a rough start into a game, it can be difficult to find the mentality.
And that's something that a lot of new players struggle with, is certainly when they're playing in something as free and loose as a pug system where they're individually skilled. They get into a structured team, and the mental aspect is the hardest thing to overcome.
Sure.
One of the best players, Rops is a great example of someone who did it very well in that transition, probably the best even, and then Stewie's the other one, and Stewie had to work very, very hard on that.
Absolutely, and that playstyle can make you notorious and be surprising for a while, but as soon as you become notorious, that's when people start to counter your playstyle. They know what you do, they know your tricks, and that's when you become a great player, when you know when to adjust and how to learn from the veterans around you and what to do in these sort of scenarios, and that's what we want to see from these new talents like Blame F. We know he's individually skilled, but can he become a world-class player in the future? That's yet to be seen. Either way, 13-8, Na'Vi lose the first pick. It's FryBet to pick things up, and you can see Simple baiting in Electronic there. He'll be watching towards his left to make sure no players sneak by. So it's a lovely little setup here. Can Electronic deliver the goods? They're not even checking, but there should be a trade here, no problem from Asilian, but the big man's waiting. It's Simple on the other side. He'll find the bomb and maybe a few more kills here. The backstab from Zeus comes in. This is absolutely brutal from Na'Vi. 3 versus 1. Blame F. We just spoke about him. If he's going to deliver, this would be an amazing time to do it, but unfortunately 10 seconds remaining. His chances are limited at the very best.
He's got it, Zeus. Perfect positioning to sneak in behind. 2 kills, both instrumental. Time was not there. Save was required and couldn't even get back that far. So Heroic, again, they will have that max loss bonus. They'll be able to purchase, but no bomb plant. Bomb going down. And a round that is lost is an extra $800 of income for each player on the team. They won't have that to go along with, and you can see Freiburg kind of struggling with that. He was the lowest on the money side at the start of the round. Na'Vi 2 rounds away from map 1 at the very least. Remember, best of 3s the whole way through.
28 kills for Simple.
Yeah, why not start the year off exactly the way you left it, right?
He's like, the stats are pretty good last year. Let's make sure I get that rating. Nice high average. Let's kick things off here in 2019. As this is going to be an absolutely monstrous game for him. As we'll see now, a partial bye. This is for map point. Remember, this is the best of 3 series, so even if Heroic lose this particular map, they do have a chance to fight back. As we get into it, Flamey baiting in his teammate. This is looking so perfect. Edward won't have to work too hard here. He does get taken down, but actually looking a little bit dangerous here. Flamey, if he misses the shot, there is a chance, but the utility usage from Na'Vi is perfect so far, and he's bought enough time for Zeus to rotate in, who's starting to warm up as well. He had a slow start. You can see him finding the kills now, working well off each other. And unfortunately, Matt, as love I love to be romantic, as you well know, I have to say Na'Vi have pretty much guaranteed this map at this stage.
Hopelessly, Henry.
Indeed, indeed. I try my best.
Can't fault the boy.
But yes, I think Heroic know that their chances of getting 7 rounds in a row, the way things have gone in this second half, are unlikely at best.
I mean, you touched on it as well. Navi's a little bit slow to get started in events. Yep. Usually more than a map, but the first 5 rounds they woke up, they turned it on pretty hard. Heroic might as well use the timeouts you have. This will be number 3, if I'm not mistaken, out of the 4 that are available. 30 seconds each time. It allows the coach to chime in with some input. He's actually not allowed to talk during the regular rounds unless a timeout is called.
Well, I hope Peacemaker's got his speech ready, because this will have to be something monumental to get them out of this hole. Freiburg, as you mentioned, coming into this one, very experienced, been playing for a long time now, major under his belt, but not really much you can do in this sort of situation. Simple's playing out of his mind. You're going to need 7 rounds in a row on the T side of this particular map. It's not impossible, but it all starts with this particular round. We'll see what can be done. Mertz waiting for the aggression, and it's a great nade from Zeus. That's going to do a lot of damage. Gets the first frag, and a second as well. We said he was warming up, but he's red hot right now.
Cillian trying to work back through connector as well. Any information is going to be valuable at this point. Last round, Mertz does get 1 pick back, but look at the aggression from Na'Vi. Already map control and so much of it. Electronic takes the entire playground position. That pretty much secures A. The only way back through it is connector. And they don't have to play that aggressively. You can already see the result of it. Simple's going to back away. And he'll cover the site. Electronic is kind of left to his own devices in this situation, though, but a lot of running, a lot of movement. Asilian's made so much noise. How does he find that shot? 90 degrees, he turns back, thankfully on a whim, and finds Electronic. That opens up A yet again. They can start to get the positions required to execute onto the site, and Simple, having already relinquished that position, has to play a very tight angle with the AWP. Not that he's not capable of it.
No grenades here apart from that 1 Molotov. They're going to have to play on frags alone here, but Zeus, he's got his 3rd, and Simple's got the shadow. It's all done for Asilian and maybe for Overpass as well. Mertz with the AWP, but not for long. Great comeback from Na'Vi. Remember, they were 5-1 down, but managed to turn it right around there. That manning the screen right there, continuing as he left off. Amazing performance. I think he must have got the 30 bomb towards the end there. What can he really do when he gets in the zone like that?
28. I didn't keep track in the last round, but certainly he was close to it if he didn't actually accomplish it. Either way, great turnaround from Na'Vi. Again, shape-up event for them going into the major. They may be talking about changes. We've heard hints of it, but I think they're in a great position to win this major. Astralis, the heavy favorites, but Navi's got to be right there with them, and they'll want to take everything they can from this small tournament for them in terms of prize money in terms of stage, in terms of pedigree, but it's exactly what they need.
It's exactly what you need. Like, it's a good confidence booster. Sure, the level of competition isn't going to be on par with what you're going to see at the major, but that's fine because it's going to build up the confidence. You're going to see some huge results. You're going to see some amazing plays, big numbers being posted, and that's what they've got in that first map. Hopefully in cruise control for them now. We expect them to run away with this tournament. Heroic, though, like we said, sure, they've got new signings here, but they're a plucky team. They're definitely going to be working hard in the week-long boot camp they had, and hopefully see a bit more out of them in that second map.
Certainly so. We'll take a short break. Second map coming up. Heroic have to recover and try and force out the third. Otherwise, Na'Vi will take the opening. Simple just wanted more camera time.
There we go.
But either way, they'll try and take this all the way to 3. Na'Vi, if they get the start, it's a small bracket. Like you say, 4 teams. They'll be in a great position to make short work of this. So we'll take a break. We'll see you in a minute.